right now, I mean, you look at it and it's always it, and I think we said this last year. We said the best corner on the Lions roster probably is in the draft. It's not even on our team right now, even though we had Carlton Davis last year, and it was like, Carlton Davis was the best corner, and then we seen the effects of when we needed a cornerback just to battle down the stretch, man. We didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? It was like we was piecing everything together with a makeshift defensive line, linebackers ravish, missing injury, with injuries. Think about it, man. We didn't have, as a good part of the second half, we didn't have Anzalone, we didn't have Barnes, Michael Rodriguez still hurt. We didn't have Aiden Hutchinson, obviously. I mean, we was missing damn near the 9 guys on defense, man. You know what I mean? Now, I think that the cornerback spot is really being magnified now, because that's really, to my surprise, is like the only weakness of this team, man. You know what I mean? I really do think the cornerback position is a weakness. Now we will get DJ Reed back, at some point, but until then, signing Trey Flowers. I mean, I don't know if that's anything to get excited about, but right now we almost to the point we need bodies, because if I'm not mistaken, Khalil Dorsey, he's still hurt, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a guy that Dan Campbell trusts. They trust Khalil Dorsey. He can do a little bit of special teams, play corner. You got Avonte Maddox. He's a guy that we signed in the offseason, but he's more of a slot, nickel guy. Um, Bobby, what's up, Bobby Drake? It's always, I know, man. I know. Terrion Arnold is just, I can't believe it. It's like, for me, it's more, I, I'm just disappointed, man, because I thought that he was going to be the guy that really was kind of going to be that next guy this season. I meant, like, that would break out. You know what I'm saying? And it hasn't happened, man. And for whatever reason, I hear, Woodward Sports, I think Neil Rule commented, he had some good comments on his show earlier today, talking about that he pretty much, we gonna miss him. And I don't know, and I like Neil Rule at times. He do,
We gonna
he
miss him because he's a body. Like that's something that's common sense. Whoop de doo. We gonna miss another corner. After we lost one in free agency, we lost actually a couple of, I believe, last year in free agency.
yeah.
Um, you're losing a body. And of course, with DJ Reed already being out, that's gonna hamper us as well. So of course we're gonna miss him. Not because he was some big time difference maker on the field, but we're gonna miss him because we're now down another cornerback body. So I just had to say that because when people say, "Oh, we're gonna miss him," that's
Mhm.
no shit.
Yeah.
We gonna miss him. We get that because we down another body, but it's
I
not
think
like we're losing a very viable part of the defense. I think the pass rush and the run the game, the run defense has been pretty damn good so far the
stellar,
first
man.
quarter of the season. But we
Yes.
already knew the cornerback position was going to be an issue anyway.
Yeah, stellar, man. I know last year, I think it was Greg Newsome was a guy that was getting thrown around the trade talks for the Browns. That may be a guy that if you're the Lions, you might want to look at Greg Newsome. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his contract is. I don't know if he signed a new contract with the Browns or not last year when they was talking about trading him, but they never did the move. I think that's a guy right now, right off the bat. Just think of the guys that we can get other than Tariq Woolen. We've heard, you heard some stuff coming out of Seattle. I don't think that we should take it lightly, man. Just like I was adamant on getting a pass rusher last year, I feel the same about corner, man. If it's a guy out there that Brad Holmes should target, you should get him. I mean, and I don't want to hear about the draft picks, man. I don't, because a second round pick ain't helping us right now. You know what I mean? I don't know why everybody's
It
so.
should be helping us, but he
Yeah,
out
but
with a
it
arm
shows
injury
you.
for the season too, and rake
There we
straw.
go.
So
That shows you where I don't give a damn if you can get Tariq Woolen or you can get a Greg Newsome, and you got to give up a second round pick. Who can give it? You're not trading your whole draft. You're getting one guy. So I mean, for me, forget the draft pick thing, man. Because if you're thinking like that, you're not gonna go anywhere, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, if our second round pick, Ennis Rakestraw, I mean, I don't even know if you can even bring him up because he hasn't played for 2 years, man. You know what I mean? And he was a second round pick, so we didn't get anything out of that. So I think it is a concern, though. I really do. I think 4-1 right now. We've taken advantage of some bad teams. I ain't gonna lie, because I think the last two games we played, the Bengals are bad. I mean, I don't care how you slice it, they're a bad football team. I think that Joe Burrow makes them good, and without Joe Burrow, they're a bad team, man. Uh, Not to have Burrow is showing that superstars matter in this league. I stand behind that. You need the try hard guys. You do. You know what I mean? You do need guys that fill out your roster, but you do need a superstar guy. Now, paying all that money to Burrow and the offense, I think has shown the offense as far as Chase and T. Higgins, rightfully so. That catch that Jamar Chase made, Browning threw. First of all, Browning threw a hell of a pass. That was amazing, dude. That was the damn near best pass I seen all season, man. For one play, and for Jamar Chase to tiptoe tiptoe the line like a ballerina, man. That was poetry. I don't care if Darrell Reeves, Deion Sanders, it don't matter who was out there. Jamar Chase gonna catch that ball on whoever it was. That's how good those two guys are. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame that you pay guys to reward guys for being great all pro players. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, it just seems like it cripples your team. You know what I mean? Because you can't keep nine good players on your roster, and pay them all top dollar because you're going to be in a situation where you strap for cash. You know what I mean? And them not getting an offensive line, not drafting guys later on. They did draft some guys last year at the Bengals this past draft, but they did them to themselves. Getting Joe Burrow hurt, I they did them to themselves. They've been drafting, just overlooking the offensive line big time. You know what I'm saying? So uh I think the number one thing right now, you get back to the Lions is, well, if it's a guy out there, I'll let you take it away. You need to you need to make a trade. I really do. I think you at least got to get one guy. You don't have to get two, but even when DJ Reed comes back, how effective is he going to be? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. I think we can get away with. I think our team is still good enough on the back end. Like you mentioned, the defensive line has been great. The linebacking core, probably the best linebacker core in the league. I believe that, and I think that'll hide our deficiencies. That's the only weakness of this team, and the only reason why interception. Oh, he didn't get it. Trevor Lawrence is terrible, man. I just the Lions could be the best team in the NFL. I mean, people don't want to say it because we said it all last year and they get disappointed. I'm not scared to say it right now. I think that they could be. I mean, give it a couple more weeks. I think that Eagles game is going to be something serious. I think that maybe the Chiefs, if they come, they look like they going Chiefs gonna win this game. And the next week game gonna be huge. I don't think Kansas City is such a walkover game like everybody's saying it is. That's why I'm getting kind of worried because we get kind of too confident. Like, oh yeah, we just gonna blow them out. Chiefs got good defense, man. I don't think offensively they're on our level, but I do think the Chiefs defense bring it, man. They bring the pressure. They over super aggressive. Their corners are good. I can see a scenario where they bait Jared Goff in a couple interceptions next Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And then our cornerbacks are gonna have to play big. I mean, and it may be the first time where we gonna be without TA and DJ Reed, and everybody gonna be saying, "Oh man, we need a corner." So I think we got to trade for one. That's how I feel about it. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, well, before I get deeper into that as far as that topic in regards to the cornerback room, whether it be via free agency, via trade, via draft, we're gonna touch on that a little bit later on the show. But I did want to go ahead and get the game out the way because it was a game that you and I disagreed a little bit as far as the spread and what we thought the game, how at least the direction we thought the game would go in. I had them covering that spread. I figured that not necessarily guaranteeing that the game would go the way it went, but I kind of figured that they would kind of play with their food a little bit. And granted, people got to remember too, as bad as Jake Browning has been, as bad as the Bengals defense has been, as bad as they've been since Joe Burrow's been out, they have been on the road too. And then they had, it's there's something to be said for a bad team when they get back home and they're playing against a team that's on the up and up because we're that team now. For a long time, we were the Cincinnati Bengals. And we had to play those Detroit Lions at home, and we took a decent amount of moral victories from beating the team, not necessarily beating the team, but quote unquote, making the game cosmetically closer than what it really was. I get it that they scored 20 plus points in the fourth quarter and they made the game look closer than what it really was. But Cincinnati never posed any serious threat in that game whatsoever.
Yeah,
Even when I can't call it a comeback attempt. I just think that they were getting some garbage yards and garbage time. And even though Jake Browning is there, I get that he hasn't played well in his previous few starts that he's had with them this season. And Joe, not necessarily Joe Burrow, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both have had like very paltry numbers statistically since Joe Burrow went out. They were due, and then with them being at home, of course, again, they were due to have some sort of offensive opening up. Now, it was only Chase because at the end of the day, Higgins had what, 3 catches for 30 yards, I think, or
yeah,
maybe it was under 30 yards. Chase was the one that did all the damage, and that happens. Whoop de doo. At
yeah,
the end of the day, a big time player in Jamar Chase made big time plays when he got the opportunities to make them. There's no shame in getting cooked by Jamar Chase. He's done it to some of the better teams. He's done it to some of the worst teams. But at the end of the day, they never posed a serious threat to me. That's why, I'm hearing today people woke up taking the college football playoff approach, which the win wasn't enough. We need style points.
uh-huh.
we should have beat them 48-10. There's no way another
Yeah,
NFL team should have scored 24 points against us. It happens.
yeah,
I don't understand what people. Okay, I get it. They thrashed the Browns a week ago, but I think football fans in general can get kind of spoiled by stuff like that. That's fool's gold. Typically in the NFL, you don't see too many 50-point games by teams.
yeah,
Um, there's too much money on the line out there. There's too much pride in these locker rooms with these head coaches, these positional coaches, these players in general. There's too much responsibility, I believe, shared between these players also, and amounts of respect for them to go out there and just allow another team to just consistently score 50 plus points on them. But I mean, at the end of the day, listen, they started the game pretty good. It wasn't as explosive the way we thought it would be. Jamison Williams still had another game where it was very, very quiet for him.
yeah,
It was a Sam Laporta type of game. They got the rushing attack going. Jared Goff wasn't nothing flashy at all. He got his numbers. He led the offense. He distributed the football to the open guys. He ran the plays the way they were supposed to be ran, and they beat a team that they were supposed to be beat. I mean, that they were supposed to beat. So, and you and I discussed this after the Green Bay loss. Heading into the Chicago game, we started, granted, looking ahead in the schedule,
yeah,
discussing some games, some possible outcomes that we were thinking of at that point in time. And I remember we both said, listen, even before the season started, Cincinnati and Cleveland are two games that you should consider gimmies if you're the Detroit Lions.
yeah,
You were a 15-win team a year ago. The year prior to that, you were a 12-win team that reached the NFC Championship game. You're a 4-1 team now. Of course, they wasn't 4-1 when the season started, but even before the season began, we knew you and I both felt that that was a win. Um, we just figured that Joe Burrow would be there, and with Burrow being there, we figured that the Bengals would put up a little bit more of a fight. But ultimately, we both believed that the defensive side of the ball would fail Baltimore. I mean, not Baltimore. We beat them a couple weeks ago, but would fail the Bengals, and that's pretty much what it was. I mean, Brownie can't stop turning the football over.
Yeah,
They still can't run the football at all. Our guys made the plays they were supposed to make. And Aiden Hutchinson, man, playing out of his mind, coming back from the injury. Kudos to him. Just hopefully, he can stay healthy as well. But
hmm,
I think overall, this was a pretty good performance by the team. The
yeah,
defense, granted the cornerback position, we knew this was going to be an issue heading into the season.
yeah,
So are we surprised? But we didn't think that the injury bug would bite this positional group the way it has, though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was just looking. Out of the top 15, we got the second most injuries in the league right now. Behind the 49, I think we got 21 guys either out or on injury reserve right now. You know what I mean? And I think the Niners got like 22 or something like that. So we right behind them again this year. And Taylor Decker's already like not practicing, just like Frank Ragnow. You know what I'm saying? That's a concern. I think the left tackle position. Um, I think we could get away. I think the good part of this whole thing is, you know, our all of our key guys are around, and I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? It's going to come down to, Brad Holmes really going to have to watch this trade deadline. I mean, and now I think the trade deadline is a thing now. You know what I'm saying? It used to be big in the NBA. Now I think it's big in the NFL too. Like I said, we're not in dire straits right now, but I just think that we need to solidify our team, man, as much as possible because we are Super Bowl contenders. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't, you don't want to be able to, uh, put all your eggs in one basket to say the next man up this early in the season. I think that, you don't want to be like we were, how we were last year when we were trying to find guys. And you know what I mean? I just don't want to be scrambling at the end of the season, man, and this thing fall off the rails. Right now, that Lions wall is hard to get over, hard to get around it, man. You know what I mean? I told you the one thing I noticed last year, I mean this year, that I really misjudged. I didn't think we would be as good as we were last year. You know what I mean? And
It's
you know,
Tyreek, man.
yeah, call me whatever. Yeah, like you said, how can you get really excited about beating the Browns and beating the Bengals? But a win's a win. They're on the schedule. Now, if we'd have lost the games, people would be saying we suck, right? So you got to go out and beat those teams, man. I don't care who's on your schedule, but this feels to me like a 3 or 4 team race to me. You know what I mean? The rest of the teams in the NFL, it's like they're good. It's some good teams out there, but they can't beat the Lions. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I just think we impose our will on any team. They got problems. I really do. I don't think Jared Goff's an issue right now. I think that he's a guy he he just does what he does. He's accurate. I mean, yeah, he missed some throws. It was a couple throws. I remember Jameson Williams was running straight across the dude. Beautiful crossing right. If he just would have waited another second instead of checking it down, that would have been a touchdown. Tesla ran the same route. It would have been a touchdown. You know what I mean? But I'm not nitpicking. I'm just saying, we probably could have scored more. And I know what he was saying when he was saying they left points out there, and that's what he's talking about. He realized, like, damn, on the tape, he probably said, like, man, I missed you. I didn't see you, that type of thing. I think our offense is tight, bro. It's tight. I think that's more of a weapon than anything. I'm not, like you said, the defensive line, Talik Williams, I think he barely played yesterday, but man, that Jack Campbell, Barnes, Anzalone, uh, Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, these guys playing ball right now. That's what I like to see. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we could have scored more, I thought we could have scored more in the Bengals. You know what I mean? It was just like they let their foot off the gas, man. That's how I looked at it. I didn't like it, like you said. Like I text you, I said I didn't like. I thought it was a horrible ending to a solid game just because they got them last two touchdowns. I didn't want them to score the way they did. You know what I mean? Because just like the Ravens game, it looked like it was closer than what it was, and it wasn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't that game was over in the started the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? But we got a little sloppy, some penalties, a couple turnovers, and that's what happens in the NFL. When you turn the ball over and capitalize, even though the Bengals are a bad team with a backup quarterback, they still capitalize if you keep giving them the ball back, keep making mistakes. You know what I mean? They eventually they're gonna break through and score on you. So um, but yeah, I like how it ended. Overall, I like how what I mean is the first 5 games of this season. I like the position that we're in. We're in better shape than I thought we would be at the beginning of the season. Coming into the season.
All right, so you touched on this a few minutes ago in regards to potential ways that they could help out this cornerback room right now. Because at the end of the day, the draft is at the end of the season.
Hmm.
Of course, draft coverage, draft evaluating start. It doesn't start. It's an ongoing thing all season long. But in regards to the trade market, are there any guys that you've been thinking about? Because I got a couple. I'm gonna bring up a couple of them right now. One of them is a guy who I'm pretty sure Lions fans are very, very, very familiar with, um, especially from his days, not only with the Dallas Cowboys being a thorn in our behinds, but also, of course, he was a former Michigan Wolverine, also former cast technician graduate, as well as big time football player Jordan Lewis. And I'm gonna bring Jordan Lewis up for a couple reasons. One, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna get this out the way because I understand everybody's gonna say Jordan Lewis, he just signed with Jacksonville via free agency or whatnot. He signed for peanuts. And we've seen much bigger contracts get moved than Jordan Lewis contract. If you look at the 2025 season, of course, he's 30 years old. He's only due a base salary of $2 million. He's got a $250,000 workout bonus, a $250,000 per game roster bonus, and just a guaranteed salary of $2 million. He only has a cap hit of $5.8 million. If you made this trade, and I understand that Jordan Lewis contract is still through the 2027 season, you still have a lot of flexibility because
Hmm.
even if you chose to not re-sign, if you made the trade and you chose to not re-sign Jordan Lewis, or if you chose to bring him back for 2026, you have an easy decision. If he's a great player for you, and he's been a great player for Jacksonville, honestly, since he's gotten there, they voted him a team captain as soon as he got there, and he's been their best DB, period, whether it's corner or safety for that matter. But let's say things didn't work out for the 2025 season and you didn't want to bring him back, but he's still under contract through 2027.
Hmm.
You can still cut him before June 1st of 2026 and save $14 million because he's due a base salary of $9 million. His salary goes from $2 million to $9 million from 2025 to 2026. So aside from the money being a big talking point for me, the fact that, because at the end of the day, the money is a big talking factor for Brad Holmes, our GM. We already know he's into the money. How much of the money is it going to cost? The money, the money. You're getting a veteran corner who can step into this roster and this room in this secondary and can play inside. He can play outside. He seems to be getting ready to make that long, yearning transition to safety the way a lot of older corners do, because he is a playmaker still at his age that he's at right now.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, Jordan Lewis, Jacksonville loves him so far. He's been their best player in the secondary since he's gotten there. He just signed his deal back in March. But like I said, these contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on.
Nope.
And if you look at Jacksonville right now, the trade deadline is what, 3 weeks away, if I'm not mistaken. 2 weeks away, two
Yeah,
full weeks away.
yeah,
Jacksonville lose tonight. They could lose coming up this Sunday. Jacksonville could easily say, "Listen, you know what? As much as we love Jordan Lewis, he's not really affecting anything over here." Now they could view Jordan Lewis as a guy, as a culture guy to help them turn things around over there.
yeah,
But for a team that traded up for Travis Hunter, that gave up a first for Travis Hunter, of course, we wouldn't have to give up a first for Jordan Lewis. I'll be shocked if we had to give up more than the fourth for Jordan Lewis. But he
yeah,
gives you a 30-year-old veteran corner who can play inside, he can play outside, he can play off, he can play some press. There's not too much Jordan Lewis can't do. And to me, he's a guy that's a cheap, quick fix, at least for this season, because we don't want to. Aside from the Tariq Woolens of the world, the specimens, the 6'3", 6'4" guys that run the 4.2, we can jump out the arena and everything. Those type of guys typically don't hit the market that often. So if we're talking about guys who we realistically could possibly get, I do think Jordan Lewis is one of those guys.
yeah. Facts. I totally agree. Something has got to, you know, be on the table right now because I don't know if you can go into the rest of this season and say we're good at that spot, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that I just don't feel comfortable, with how it's laying right now. I see a couple guys that could be, what about like a Rasul Douglas? A guy like him play for the Dolphins. You got to try to get guys that's playing on teams that's going nowhere. You know what I mean? Rasul Douglas, I
Right.
think he's 30 years old, played with Buffalo forever, but he did go down to Miami. I don't know what his contract situation is. Just a guy that I know maybe, he may be available to be had. I think veterans want to win, especially when you hit 30. That's like, you know, that that's on the wrong that's on the wrong you on the wrong side of 30 when you turn 30, and then after that in football, football age, you know what I'm saying? So I just believe that, I brought up Greg Newsome. It was another guy I know last year was some talk that the Lions could go after him from Cleveland. um Again, I think it has to be addressed, like you said, for foregone, um for the reasons why we mentioned it. You know what I mean? Because even if Terrion Arnold comes back, around Thanksgiving or whenever it is, it's just not gonna be. You figure he's not gonna be 100%. Gotta look. The process of him getting back to full strength. You know what I mean? It's just like, and then DJ Reed is out, but Trey Flowers is on the roster. That's a guy he might get a chance. Probably not, maybe not this week, but maybe when he's ready in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe after the bye, after the Monday night game against Tampa, that he may be in there. But I do believe, I'm just to say this, I believe another signing is going to be made. I mean, it's evident. I don't know so much, like you said, Brad Holmes holds it real close to the vest, especially when you talk about trade, especially about money right now. It may be getting somebody off a practice squad somewhere. You know what I mean? That may be the route he wants to go. But I'm with you. I'm with you with full blown trade. I think a trade for a guy who not just going to be on a practice squad. I think you need a guy who's going to play. You know what I mean? Who can play and understands offense and stuff. Understand defensive scheme. So it's going to be interesting. I would assume before we hit Kansas City, it'll be another cornerback on this roster. You know what I mean? I really do believe that. You know what I mean? I think they have no choice. But
Right.
the $1 million question is who's going to be the guy that they pick.
Well, I do have another one. Didn't want to really take people up too long tonight with too many names, whatever. But this is a guy who plays for a team that will be playing later on in the season, week 11. This team looks like they're not really going anywhere. And that right there is the New York Giants. And I want to talk a little bit about this guy, Deontay Banks,
From
six
Maryland,
foot
right?
one. Yeah, went to Maryland.
Yeah,
6'1", 200 pounds. At least now he's listed at 197. This was a guy when he was at Maryland. He was listed at 6'1" and a half, 6'2". He was every
yeah,
bit of 212 pounds. Still ran a sub 4.40. Pretty freakish athlete, big physical corner, more of a cover two corner to me. Loves to come up and run support, very physical.
yeah,
Little stiff in the hips, not as fluid in transition as you would like to be. But if you're talking about a guy with some size, some athletic ability, some traits, he was very good as a rookie back in 2023. Showed a lot of promise. Didn't play as well in 2024. Had some inconsistencies in coverage, some blown coverages. The effort didn't seem to always be there. Don't know what was really going on with the New York Giants. That's why it's kind of hard for me at this point in time, after seeing everything that we've seen for the New York Giants and that organization, how they handle business. I can't really fault too many players that come from that organization and have things with like their head on half backwards,
yeah,
because it's obvious that Saquon left, turned his career around. Daniel Jones left, resurrected his career. They have that reputation now as that organization where guys have to leave to get better. He's only 24 years old, also. And if you're looking at the money that you have to pay him, he's still on his rookie salary. He made 750,000 in 2023. He only made a base salary of 1.3 million in 2024. He's only making 1.9 million this year. And once again, you're talking about a 24-year-old investment. He's not scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent to 2027. There's no guarantee right now, and there's no reports of an extension or a brand new deal for Deontay Banks on the table for the New York Giants. So you're talking about a rookie salary that's worth a total of $6.7 million. That's already paid out almost 2 million, 2.5 million of that. And once again, this is a guy where you get him for this season. You don't like what you see. You can go ahead, you can cut him before June 1st, and you're talking about saving $4.3 million. I'm not sure how much you know about Deontay Banks. You do remember the fact that he did play at the University of Maryland.
yeah,
We kind of familiar with him around here, being Michigan fans in the Big Ten. What are your thoughts on Deontay Banks?
yeah. I don't think he's the answer, man. You know what I mean, I want somebody that's established. I mean, for this team. I mean, yeah, if you want to bring him along, to play with the guys that we have. But I don't know, like, if he's the answer for Terrion Arnold not being around or DJ Reed. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I think right now he's just relatively young, still trying to find himself, like you said. So I don't know if he even figures in the plans of the Giants right now. You know what I mean? Moving forward, I think that's a guy you may not even have to trade to get him. I just he may be a guy may be available in a couple weeks. That's how I kind of feel about it.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
was gonna
So
say that too, because there is a chance that Brian Dayball could be fired at the end of the season.
yeah.
If things keep going worse in a way worse direction that they're going for the Giants, they already lost to the Saints this past Sunday. So, I mean, you're right. He could be available via trade during this offseason, but
Uh-huh.
there were talks about them trading him last year. So I don't know exactly what all is going on with New York, but like I said, this
Yeah.
you're talking about a dysfunctional organization. So a
That's true.
24-year-old kid coming from the New York Giants, I'm kind of hard pressed to just believe all the press that you hear about him. So,
That's
no,
true.
I mean,
That's true.
yeah, yeah, I figured that because at this point in time, there's not too many established stars you're gonna be able to get, via trade.
Yeah.
Unless a number just comes up about a corner that wants to get paid this or that, but they're not gonna pay him. The elite corners get paid. Remember 2 years ago, there were all these rumblings about, Patrick Surtain isn't happy in Denver and they're not gonna pay him.
Yeah.
Bullshit. They paid him because he's the
Yeah.
best corner in football. The Carolina Panthers, they paid J.C. Horn. Um,
Yeah.
Another guy I want to bring up didn't have all of his numbers brought up. But I'm gonna talk about his little brother too in a little while that's in college right now. But AJ Terrell from Atlanta. Now, AJ Terrell signed that extension. He's another guy played really well his first couple years in Atlanta for the Falcons. He's kind of trailed off a little bit too. It's kind of up and down with these corners, man. You don't always know. They switch
Yeah,
defensive coordinators. They start asking them to do different things that don't really coincide with what their skill set is. Responsibilities change. But this is a guy who's a pure man corner. He's still very young.
yeah,
The money isn't outrageous in comparison. I think right now he's the eighth highest paid corner in the league.
yeah,
So, and for a team that's not paying any corners anything right now,
yeah,
he's another guy that could be possibly on the trade deadline. Well, on the
yeah.
trade
Now
block
you're
as well.
talking. Like AJ Terrell from I think he played Clemson, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now you're talking. That's established guy who's been in some games. You know what I'm saying? Been in this league, knows what it is to be a professional. I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm with anybody who's just got some spare because this is why I want a guy who can plug and play, man. Get him in there. I don't want a guy who just you got to still work with them, man. That's for the draft. If you're gonna do that, we might as well draft another corner, which we will anyway. We will get to that talk, some months now. But yeah, I mean, I respect everything you're saying because I do believe you got to get creative and get somebody. Obviously, you're not trading for, Sauce. I'm just saying Sauce Gardner. He first one came to mind. You ain't trading for him, obviously, but you can get somebody that that's established player in the NFL. Like I said, I got the two guys I had on top of my head. It was I thought the Packers, not the Packers. Minnesota had another guy that was bounced around the league. I can't think of the top of my head. Who's got Byron Murphy? No, that's Minnesota. Byron Murphy's played
yeah.
for the Vikings. But yeah, Greg, that's a good point. And Walt brought that up, a couple days ago. I would do it in a minute. Yes, I would do it. Yes, yes, and yes. For Tariq Woolen. I mean that's what you want. You know what I mean? Somebody that's established player. It would probably instantly be our best cornerback, ironically, if they would do that deal. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think something's gonna happen, on that front. But I wonder how much stock they're putting into it. You know what I mean? I'm behind the scenes. Why? I mean, do you really? I say Greg Newsom. I said the same thing. Greg Newsom is a guy last year that I heard that they were getting some flyers on him, man. So watch that. Asante Sam. Now tell me, Walt, you had anything out of Chargers camp? Whatever happened? Asante Samuel Jr. fell off the face of the earth, man. I don't.
And he hurt.
That's what it is. Okay, because he's not even on anybody's
I thought he
roster,
was
bro.
still
He's
hurt.
not even playing right now. I don't get that at all. Because I thought that he was ascended. I mean, I know he living, playing off his dad's name basically, but still, I mean, I thought he was a decent player. I mean,
Now he a good player
yeah,
though. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. It be so much stuff and underlying stories going on with these players,
yeah,
but another guy that I wanted to throw out there, and he's not a
yeah,
corner. He's more of a weapon, a defensive weapon. And I didn't think anything was going to happen over this past week, but we just played Cincinnati. I talked about him last week.
yeah,
Dax Hill was another
yeah,
guy who reportedly was on the trade block last year when they were talking about cleaning the house, trying to get more picks or
yeah,
whatnot. Michigan fans are very, very familiar with Dax Hill. Free safety / strong safety, can play some cover one, fast enough to play some cover one and protect the
yeah,
fence. He's a guy that can blitz as well off the edge. He's a guy that can come down in the slot and cover slot receivers. There's not too much Dax Hill can't do as a football
yeah,
player. And I love the fact that his last year at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh allowed him to, actually put him in the right situations to show his versatility to the NFL at the next level. I'm a big Dax Hill fan, man. I really am. I had I wanted them to honestly take him a couple years ago.
hmm
when I heard that they were looking for another safety, another versatile type safety. So even if you're not looking for like a pure cover corner, they could be looking. We talked about this at least for the draft coming up. Well, at least the past draft before it was coming up. We talked about the possibility of them going after another safety because there's a lot of versatility in playing with three safeties now. At least having three really good versatile
Yeah,
safeties. I mean, Kirby can cover, not as well as Branch can cover, but Kirby can cover, Branch can cover. And if you got another versatile safety that can get out there and cover, that can hit, that can blitz off the edge, that can come down to cover slot wide
yeah,
receivers, guys that can come down in the box and actually help out and run support. That's another way that they can also the um help out the secondary as well. But I mean, we're talking about players. They may not care about any of these damn players we talking about. And then we could see one of these players we discussed tonight actually pop up on the timeline next week. Hey, Lions are, rumored to be interested in this guy or that guy. But I tried to because they've made it very evident over these 4 or 5 years
yeah.
that they're not in the business of going after big splash
What
names.
if,
Um,
what if, just throw this out there. Let's get, I think it's outside the box. What if, what if Ladarius Sneed becomes available? Remember him? Uh,
yeah.
this is what I mean. Not saying the Lions would trade for him. What if he just flat out say, you know what, Tennessee is a mess. They got to get salary cap. They say, you know what, we done seen better day. We gonna cut this guy and just get rid of Snead within the next before the trade deadline, which may be kind of stupid actually, not to get paid. I'm just saying, what if somehow he became available? Okay, let's just say it that way. And would that be a guy that you be willing? You know what I mean? You gotta believe that Tennessee ain't gonna get you ain't getting. I would say a fourth round pick for him. You know what I'm saying? I would do it in a minute. You know what I mean? That's another guy that just think about it, man. I mean, he just felt he's on the wrong team. He took the money's on the wrong team. Period. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another guy. I think we need a high level guy like that. Like AJ Terrell was a good pick by you because that was a guy
Well,
just that you could probably get. You know what I mean? Right now, if you wanted to get AJ Terrell, you could probably get on the phone and get him right now. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be that hard. So, uh, I'm just.
I don't know about Snead.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
mean, the money's better. The money's better than the money that AJ Terrell got. But we talking about okay. Well, the good thing is this: he only makes 4.3 million this
Yeah.
year, but he's on pace. No, well, that was 2024. Sorry about
Hmm.
that. 2025 this year, and he's also 28 years old. He has a base salary of 18.3. He has a cap number of 22.5 mil though.
Ooh,
So
ooh, that's
if you did trade for him, unless they had a deal with Tennessee, Tennessee will have to eat some of that money. So if we talking about a 28-year-old corner bringing him
yeah,
over, Tennessee's already paid what 5 games worth of that
yeah.
salary already.
So the ticket will
Yeah,
go down,
and
right, Walt?
he's
Like as the weeks go on, that
yeah,
ticket gonna get lower. You know what I'm saying? That may be a guy you can get. I mean, down the line. Maybe too
yeah.
early right now, like you said, but y-
I mean, it's a good idea you brought up though because just looking at his number right now, if not Kansas City, if Tennessee decided to cut him before June 1st, you're talking about saving $31 million of his
yeah.
contract. So he's probably as good as gone
Mhm.
from Tennessee because regardless of how good he is, a really good player does a shitty team no
Right. That's what
justice.
I'm saying, bro.
And I'll be saying that to and Fidel, I hope you're watching right now. But I talk to him all the time about the Raiders and how the Raiders, in order for the Raiders to really rebuild, they need to get rid of Max Crosby. He's their best player, but he can't do shit on that
Hmm.
team. He shows out. Don't get me wrong. When every time I watch a Raiders game, Max stands
Yeah.
out. He stands out tremendously, but he's one man on a 52-man roster in
Yeah.
football. And the only way the Raiders can honestly get better is by getting draft picks. If they traded Max Crosby today, or if they put him on the market today, they could get more for him than what Dallas got for Michael
Yeah.
Parsons.
Fact.
because he's better against the run. He's just as deadly of a pass rusher. He's a more disruptive player overall than Michael Parsons
Yeah,
is.
I'm trying to get some players off
You
the
know.
Dolphin squad because they horrible. What about Jalen Phillips, man? That's another got to answer question.
Don't he have a heart issue or
Jalen
something?
Phillips.
What did he have?
It,
It was something he had in college where he couldn't play for like a year and a half. He had some
I
medical
thought that was
issue.
Latu. I thought that was Latu had the heart
He did
injury.
too.
Yeah, from UCLA. Maybe it was Jalen Phillips. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. But it just seemed like he's a good
but
player, can get to the, and he's just like on the wrong team, man. These guys, they just need to come over here to Detroit. I agree with what E's saying about the pass rush will make the corners better. And I would feel um I would really feel more, I would feel way more comfortable if Khalil Dorsey was playing. Like if Khalil Dorsey's hurt, that makes it even way difficult. You know what I'm saying? I you know what I'm saying, Walk, because I think Khalil Dorsey was they kind of turned him into a guy that they can play. You know, they trust. And he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? So now we down to Avante Maddox, who's more of a nickel guy, like, Robertson, we got what's the other kid we draft I can't think of the top of my head that we signed. But what I'm saying is we need another corner on this roster, man. Somebody that's serious about like being a starter type, because even when DJ comes back, Terry and Arnold's still gonna be out. You know what I mean? And I don't even I'm saying it like he's like a factor, but he's not. But what I'm saying is, we need to upgrade that spot, period, man. I mean, I just think that right now, uh, agree or disagree. I mean, everybody that's watching, listening, we appreciate y'all tonight, man. Don't you feel like this team is just like one or two players to really have a lockdown on this thing, man? I just think that we're not far away. Like the Bears, if you're a Bears fan, you can say, "Well, man, we need two more drafts before we even talk about being serious." I think the Lions are there. I don't even think we even need any new players right now. You know what I'm saying? I just think we have everything we need in Allen Park. I think no, what I'm saying,
I
what
mean,
I'm saying to an extent, I'm
yeah.
saying one of these guys we talking about can really just like for I'm just saying for this season. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the 4-1 Lions right now. You know what I mean? We talking about right now.
Yeah. Well, we also said that, and we both agreed, like during the offseason, that the Lions' number one corner might still be in
You're
college.
right. We said it last year. He is now, Rock. He just
So,
right.
he might be, and I think that's a perfect transition to just go over to the NFL draft a little bit. I don't know if you watch a lot of college football
Yeah.
though, so I'm pretty sure you've seen some. You've ran across some
Yeah.
corners out there that you may like. Michigan got a handful. I ain't gonna say a handful. Michigan got about two or three
What's
of
the
them. They also got safety Rob Moore, who's back from that terrible leg injury he suffered a year
yeah.
ago. Rob Moore could have left a year ago, came back. He's out there making plays, still looking like the old Rob Moore.
Oh,
But
one guy before you
if
get going, I'm just gonna
yep,
tell you, I know you know him. I think Draft Buzz got him as a late first. Right now, I like the kid from Georgia. What's his name? Dane Everett. I think his name Everett. I think that's like he could
yeah,
be the top. I mean, not yet. I mean, it's a lot of guys that's ahead of him right now. But he's one guy that stuck out. Well, I just think. I mean, I know you know exactly who you want to touch on right now, but that's just one guy who stood out to me. The kid Everett from Georgia. I think in Draft Buzz that got him ranked at number 15 right now. I think he's 6'1" or 6'2". That's another thing. I don't want another 5'11". Do not draft another guy under 6 feet tall, dude. Just that should be a requirement. You know what I mean? If
I don't really care about. I ain't gonna say I don't care about the height because I still do prefer like my corner 6 foot to six
yeah,
two. If you shut down, you shut down. Shut down coming 5'11", shut down coming 6'1". But you ever notice like, and we harp, at least I know I do. I harp on skill set and physical attributes a lot with
yeah,
corners. typically the corners who have short arms, which is kind of like a death sentence to corners. They hate corners with short arms. They usually have great recovery
Hmm.
speed. The corners who don't have great recovery speed usually have long
Yeah.
arms, and we'll get into it in later shows in regards to requisite skill sets and cornerbacks, what you typically look for.
Yeah.
But the first corner I do, because I only got two tonight, and we're gonna dig through this as the season unfolds. But the first guy that I do, and I want to, well, hold on. Eric Russell says Brad can't be stubborn on this. I'm sick of this next man up
Yep.
BS. We got to learn from
That's true.
last year.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree, and I understand fans are very, 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 very upset with all this. Granted,
That's right. A-Dub, right.
our
I
GM,
feel like you,
our
A-Dub.
GM doesn't make those. I mean, our GM typically he hasn't shown us to make those type of moves. He also hasn't shown us the ability or the want to approach the NFL draft on the defensive side of the football with the same aggressiveness that so he attacks the offensive side of the football. The offense, as far as defense, the cornerback position, we said that the last 2 years, people thought Terrion was going to be the answer. He hasn't shown to be the answer his first couple
Yeah.
years. We had a lot of hope, and there's still a lot of hope out there for Ennis Rakestraw as well.
Who?
But and before I shoot
Who?
it, I mean, what it Ennis
Who is that?
Rakestraw,
I never
man.
never
The
seen him
hope.
play. I don't even know who he is.
Well, the hope is
No,
still there.
man. No.
And this first corner I'm gonna bring up is gonna bring PTSD for y'all as Lions fans, because the first thing I'm gonna say is he's not playing right now, and he's currently recovering from a torn ACL.
Hmm.
So I know Lions fans do not want to hear this, but listen, man. Jamad McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee, 6'1", 197,
Hmm.
has all the requisite skill set attributes that you look for in a lockdown perimeter boundary corner. He's got the long arms. He's got great ball skills. He had 4 picks in 2024. Believe it or not, he took 2 of them to the house. Transfer from Oregon State. Got out of Oregon State, was too big of a fish over there. Got to the SEC, and his very first year in the SEC, homeboy balled out. Now, like I said, you're talking about a guy who, prior to this season, actually prior to him tearing his ACL in January, this was a guy who was trending towards being a top 10 pick and was pretty much hands down considered the number one overall cornerback in the
Yeah.
country, as well as the draft. Now, considering the fact that he hasn't played in 2025, which raises a good question with him.
Yeah.
If you're a guy with this type of praise right now going on, PFF still has him as the number one rated corner in the draft, and he hasn't played football since January. So that lets you know right there
Yeah.
exactly how high regard that he's held in. This is a guy that's not a slot. He played 20 snaps in the slot in 2024, 6'11" outside. Also blitzed him from the box a decent amount. So he's a versatile, athletic corner, mondo
Hmm.
skills. But as I said, for Lions fans, you're dealing with some of that PTSD because he's a guy that's coming off a torn ACL. But I will say this, and I'm gonna ask this question to you, Ashanti, and everybody that's watching right now, because if you're him and you're a guy that's considered the number one guy, even though you haven't played a down in 2025, you're still considered the number one corner in the draft. Why would you come back and play football in week 9? Come back and play football in week
Hmm.
10? Is it better for a guy like him to just go ahead and leave early? Because if you're still considered the number one corner in the draft, I'm drafting you with a torn ACL right now. But by the time camp starts next year, he's 100% ready to play. And I got a 21-year-old corner that's only played 1.5 full seasons of college football. So you may not know much about Jamad McCoy. Lions fans out there, just want to get some names out there for you guys to get acquainted with. What are you thinking? Well, I already know how you think in regards to drafting another injured player,
Hmm.
but he doesn't help us, of course, right now. Right
Yeah.
now, of course not. But if we're talking about an organization that hasn't shown the attitude or the urgency to go out there and trade for a big name, they may trade for a guy, but it may not be a B plus guy. It may be a C plus guy. It may be a C
Yeah.
minus guy. If we're just discussing the draft right now, how are you in regards to taking a player that's he's hurt right now, but he'll be 100% by the time the NFL draft
Yeah,
rolls around?
you know me. I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing absolutely. Like you said, if it's high risk, high reward. I mean, yeah, high risk, high reward. I would do it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to hit a home run. You know what I'm saying? Every time I pick. So for me, yeah, but I'm gonna supplement it with other guys in that, you know what I'm saying? If I'm taking McCoy, then I'm looking at the best D lineman, you know what I'm saying, edge rusher, or I'm looking at another linebacker. What I'm saying is I'm trying to supplement what's around him. You know, if I take this kid, okay, while I'm waiting for him, I'm still gonna get the next best guy, like I said, in another position that that you could put around him. You know what I mean? For me, that's how I think in a draft. I'm not going to be scared and not take a player because he was injured. You know what I mean? I just think that, yeah, you might crap out, roll the dice, and may not work once, twice, even three times. But what if you do get that guy? You know what I'm saying, Walt? And you do take that chance. And I think that, heck yeah, McCoy worth it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you was to say, he may not be ready during the combine or something, but with the night of the draft, he ready to go and play ball. And I think a lot of players get caught up like that. You know what I mean? And they say, well, he got injury
Yeah.
issues and he didn't test out well. He got a medical report, and then come draft night, somebody, I think that happened with what's the guy, Jahad Campbell. I think wasn't that like he was sort of like that for the Alabama, and Philly wound up taking him, which he was a luxury pick. But they
Yeah.
kind of didn't need Jahad Campbell, but they picked him. You know what I mean? Even though he had the medical stuff, so yeah, McCoy's a guy. He is baller, man. I like him. So
Yeah. I will say just another thing that is kind of like,
Corey,
has a lot of people hesitant with him is the fact that, okay, he will be 100 if he doesn't play a single down at Tennessee in
yeah,
2025. Yes, he will be 100% healthy to play football for the Detroit Lions in 2026. But you're also talking about from January to January being one full calendar year that he hasn't played football, plus another 7 months. But the good thing about those plus 7 months of him not playing football is the fact that he's going to spend not 7 months, but 5 months. He's going to spend those 5 months in camp getting ready with the Detroit
oh,
Lions. Not to say that they drafted him or anything, but just trying to put the picture out there for fans who say, well, why would we get another injured player? You're getting a super talented
yeah.
player. It's sort of like, the Jameson Williams situation. Everybody knew prior to Jameson Williams tearing his ACL in the national championship game that J-Mo was the unanimous number one receiver coming out of that draft. And if he would have been healthy heading into that draft, he would have went number 7 to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm pretty sure. He would have went ahead of Drake London. I'm pretty sure he would have went ahead of Garrett Wilson also. But we're just talking about looking forward down the line. We get it that talking about the draft doesn't help the team right now. But the draft is still a major part of this team, and it's something that you got to still consistently keep, in your back pocket because it is something that's getting ready to pop up. Before we get out of here, I did have one more player, and I mentioned his brother earlier. Now, Avion Terrell, little brother, of course, of AJ
Yeah.
Terrell from the Atlanta Falcons, doesn't have the same size and stature that his older brother has at 6'1" and 190 plus. Avion Terrell is listed at 5'11", 180, which means probably, if you're listening to Clemson, he's probably, when we get to the NFL Combine, 5'10", 5'10 and a half. He's a short corner. Very athletic, very physical in run support, despite the fact that you see his smallest frame for that matter. But he's a guy who, and I want to get back to some interesting numbers from him if you get back to 2023, because he had a great 2023. 2024 season, they moved him from the slot out to the outside exclusively, and he's a guy that kind of struggled.
Yeah.
You know, he played a shitload of snaps though outside on the perimeter in 2024, and he gave up a lot of yards. He got a lot. He got targeted a
Yeah.
lot, mainly because he's not the biggest corner out there. And when you're talking about bigger, faster, more physical wide receivers, and you're also talking about hashes being a whole lot wider in college football, there's a lot more space for you to cover. It's damn near impossible to find a shutdown corner playing on a college football field.
Yeah.
Not with the way these college offenses are constructed now. Now, can you take a guy with big time man corner traits in college and put him in an NFL system and have him succeed? Very well possible. But he's been a lot better, I think, in 2025 because they cut down his perimeter snaps. He plays a lot more in the slot. He's played almost triple the snaps in the slot. Not in the slot, but yeah, he's played almost triple the snaps this year in the slot than he played total in
Yeah.
2024. So he's a guy that's kind of slipped back into his comfort zone, I think. Play outside a little bit, depending on what the matchups may be. Uh, but he's a dependable slot corner for damn sure. A guy that's speedy, very physical in run support. Those man, and I noticed too, those Clemson corners, we talked about Nate Wiggins from a year
Yeah.
ago coming out. Nate Wiggins was taller, but Nate Wiggins was another 180-pound corner, very skinny built, very
Yeah. He can
physical
run.
in
Yeah, he
run
can run
support.
too.
Yeah, and very physical in run support. So I don't know exactly how much you know about Avion Terrell, but he's another guy. If you're talking about somebody that's sort of, even though he doesn't play safety at all, he reminds me a little bit of Andrew Makuba
Yeah, from
from a year
Texas.
ago,
Yeah.
and I loved Andrew Makuda. Yep, the Philadelphia Eagles took
Yeah.
him this year, and I love Andrew Makuba as a player because not only could he play some safety, some free safety, he could also play some nickel corner for you. Smallest player, throws his body around, plays a lot
Yeah.
bigger than what his size may indicate. So that's just getting people a little bit acquainted with a couple
Yeah, for
names
sure.
moving forward because cornerback at the end of the day, man, cornerback has become it was a hot button topic for you and I, because we try to comb through this organization as much as we possibly can. We don't try to predict negative things for this organization. We just always keep our eyes on everything: coaching staff, linebackers, running backs, tight ends, every single aspect of the team, so to speak. So, um, before we get out of here, are there any cornerbacks from college outside of the one young man you mentioned that you did have your eye on?
At the moment, no. Just because it's still like not even the process for me. I'm just like, man, I wanted to see how this season gonna start. Because even whether the Lions' success really doesn't have, I mean, I think the success of the Lions obviously and what could be as opposed to what we see with our eyes is making everybody like, well, me included, like cornerback is a area that's got to be addressed. But I was hoping not to even have to address the draft at all. You know what I'm saying? But right now, yeah, of course, now all everything is in play now. You know what I'm saying? As far as like looking at that spot. So not really right off the bat. I just know Everett's been the guy that's been kind of sticky good. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm definitely, I tell you this though, I definitely these weeks to come, I definitely will have my eye on that spot.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so pretty action packed show.
Yeah.
Didn't get we didn't get too deep, I don't think, into as far as free agency because the free agent market is what it is, man. This idea that fans have that at this point in time in the season, you're just gonna go reach into the free agent market and get some starting corner, or or even a capable backup for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
There's 32 teams in the league. There's 32 cornerback rooms. Typically, the guys that are still free agents, they're still free agents for a handful of reasons. There's some underlying injury that we as fans don't know a damn thing about. It could be a money dispute. A lot of these players want to be paid more than what the market is kind of dictating for them.
Yeah.
And then, some of these guys, we still know them by name. Some of these players out here are washed up.
Yeah.
That's a good reason why a lot of these players are still free agents right now. So, like I said, typically you talking about guys still free agents week 4, week 5, week 6 of the season. Typically, it's for a really good reason,
Yeah.
man.
Devin Lloyd
And
just took one.
get some of these comments before we get out of
99
here
yards
too.
to the hot Jaguars winning now. 90 Devin Lloyd got some wheels, man. 99 yards for a defensive dude. He ran that bad like a running back.
You see how long you see how long it took him to come into his
Yeah.
own. People were saying in Jacksonville that he was a bust
Yeah.
last year. And linebacker is one of the toughest positions to learn to actually translate from college to the
That's right.
NFL.
That's right.
But all right, so Corey says, told y'all if they ain't from Colgate or William and Mary, it ain't happening. That man bet not draft a corner from Colgate.
Yeah.
And he also said Jacksonville hanging with Kansas City
Yeah.
right now. Everybody's a fraud,
Yeah.
but us.
Right. Right.
Even
Even
Philly. Even Philly. Philly said, you know what? Fine, we'll throw the football. Threw the football 48 times and got
right
17
now, real
points.
quick, Juan, before we get out of here, go to what now? Okay, what's our depth chart situation right now? In that, I just want to see somebody if we can get it real quick. Just hit on our depth chart for the Lions cornerback position. Like I said, I know we got Trey Flowers, so he's a guy that's going to be obviously dependent on here, unless we do something else. Uh, let's go to depth chart here.
Trying to bring it up. What we got? All right, here we go. Got him on the base 4-3. All right, so we're looking at Rock Sin. And and shout out to
Yep.
Rock Sin because Rock Sin, I give him a lot of trash for being, I don't not call him trash, but I give him a lot of bullshit for being a career journeyman. But he's been a decent player everywhere he's been. He hasn't been good enough to be a consistent week in, week out starter, but he's been good enough to play a starting role in multiple teams. So, yeah, he has played pretty well for us coming over in free agency. Amik Robertson, Trey Flowers, and Avonte Maddox. DJ Reed currently on IR. Ennis Rakestraw currently on IR. Dane Jackson currently on IR. And
Daniel Thomas. We just got
Khalil
Daniel
Dorsey.
Thomas.
Yep.
He hurt now. He on injured reserve.
Yeah, that room looked kind of
That's what
sketchy,
I said.
man.
Well, we have to get some dude. Right now, we got Rock Sin, Trey Flowers, and Meek Robertson and Vontae Maddox. You have to get another corner. Do you know what I'm saying? It's mandatory. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing. It's just like Dorsey's out, Terrion's out. Like you said, Dan Jackson was a safety kid from Georgia they drafted. No Enos Rakestraw, no DJ Reed. You know what I mean? You have to at least get somebody to fill out the roster, just to fill out the roster. Number one, but it'd be nice to trade. It'd be nice to go and trade for somebody. That for me. You know what I mean? Right. Don't give me a Kendall Vildor. Don't give me yeah, Trey. What's up, Trey? Yup, Corey, all y'all, Greg, everybody that's in the house tonight. Yeah, Jack Campbell, man. He's been the guy I've been most him and Talik Williams, man, on defenses. Those two, even though Talik didn't really play yesterday too much, but I think that's good. Aiden Hutchinson back. I think that Jack Campbell's gonna have a huge year, man. He should have got that fumble. He knocked that ball out. I wanted Jack to get that, but I love Jack Campbell, man. You know what I'm saying? He hit who was that he hit so made him fumble the ball. Dude, Jack Campbell just does everything right. You know what I mean? He ain't got to be flashy. He make tackle, get where he needs to be, can drop back in coverage, help support the run, rush the quarterback on the blitz. I like everything about
Yeah.
Jack, you know.
I called him Flapjack Jack.
Yeah.
He look like he get up in the morning the day of the game. He eat his pancakes, he eat his sausage, and then he go to work. Like that's Jack, man. Jack ain't gonna say much.
Uh,
But yeah, I think also, man, I'm with Trey Finesse 100% on Jack Campbell. If you look at Jack Campbell, the Buckets Award winner from his last year at Iowa, we can get Jack to be that Jack. We brought this up. If it wasn't the last show, it may have been the show previous to that. Um, if we had a pure edge rusher,
uh-huh.
boy, and I'm all with Al Qadim Muhammad and everything, but outside of corner, I think edge rusher is also still, and we've been good. We leading the league heading into yesterday's game, we were leading the league in sacks. Denver was actually number 2 behind us. We've been generating a lot of pressure, and I think a lot of that goes to a front 7 player being our defense coordinator. Because you ever notice, like, typically positional coaches, when they take over as offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, whatever their area of coaching
Uh-huh.
was of expertise, usually is their strength. So am I surprised that a linebacker coach took over as defensive coordinator and unlocked the pass rush in the front 7? I'm not surprised about that at all. And the secondary played better with a former cornerback running in an Aaron
Yeah.
Glenn. So even though people say, well, we getting pressure and we second in the league in sacks, we number 1 in the league in sacks right now.
I
I don't think we can look around the rest of the NFC and say we cool. We can go on cruise control. Like, we could suffer our own share of injuries at any point in time. Like, you want to make sure you get somebody to top things off, whether it's a superstar, a star, a C+ player that can play like a B+
uh-huh.
player in our scheme. I would love to see an edge rusher. And I think having a guy that opposite of Aiden Hutchinson has to be consistently accounted for, that's just gonna open up more things for Jack. I'm a big Jack fan. Like I tell people, Jack gonna be here for the next 12
Uh-huh.
years. He's that type of linebacker. He's their type of teammate. He is their type of guy that they want to be the captain of the defense. He's their Chris Spielman.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. That's facts.
But all right, man. Corey had one more comment because I thought about that too at one point in time. Yeah, Campbell, I thought was the odd man out, but he been balling this year. Yeah, when we were discussing possible players that we would throw in for Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey Jack, get Jack the hell out of here. We want Michael.
Yeah.
We want Michael.
Yeah, man.
What else? We got? Somewhat not to complain, but we got to get to the quarterback more because it was times Brownie seemed to have a lot of time. True, 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 true. Also, Jack gonna get a Wrangler deal. You mean Jack not gonna get a Gucci deal?
Yeah.
Jack Campbell and
Jack.
Gucci. Enough to keep Jack Campbell and Gucci and
Yeah.
gold.
Budweiser.
I don't even know what
Yeah, I
Jack
was gonna say
drink.
Jack don't look like
Jack
he
Jack sound like he looked like the type that show up at the bar. Everybody else that had one too many. Come on, guys, get in the
he
back
look
of my
like he
pickup,
he, he
man.
a milk mustache kind of guy. Commercial milk.
Show up
milk.
drinking milk. Oh man, that's crazy. All right, man. It was great having everybody join us for tonight, man. We haven't done a Monday show in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But wasn't a whole lot to discuss. Our team handled the team that they were supposed to handle. Was it 48-10? No, it was not. It was a workmanlike performance. It was a bad team that was back at home playing in front of a home crowd after playing like crap on the road for a couple weeks. They put up a little fight. We got up, we built a big lead, chilled out in the fourth quarter. They started throwing the football around a little bit, padded a little bit of stats, but at no point in time at all was Cincinnati ever a threat to win that game. And we handled them the way we should have. That Baltimore Raven win ain't looking that sexy, but we handle the Texans handle Baltimore too. Everybody getting the turn with Baltimore right
Yeah,
now.
and we might be
But
before we get out of here. Before I just want to say this while We might be it might be a desperate Kansas City team next Sunday night. We play them boys because if they lose tonight, they could be 2-3. When we play them,
Or we might
you know what
smash
I
them.
mean?
We might smash
Yep.
them too. I mean, they got some speed at wide receiver
Hmm.
though. They do have that, but all right, man. So we'll be back in a couple days to go through the injury report for us, as well as the injury report for the for the Tampa Bay Tampa in 2 weeks. The injury report as well for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then, of course, more than likely we will be back Saturday morning to give you guys that Saturday morning bright and early breakdown of Sunday's game that we all know you guys are really, really, really excited for because it's also a Sunday night game. And you know Dan Campbell and his Detroit Lions are easy money in primetime games the last 3 years. So, till next time, one pride.